Okay, before we start this, we need to understand what the equation of a circle looks like. So here on the x and y axis, I've got a circle drawn and its centre is at the origin of that axis, so 0, 0. Now the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Well, x and y are just coordinates and r we know is the radius. So looking at this circle over here, the radius is just the distance from the origin to the circumference. At this point here, we have got r, obviously going around the circumference, r all the way around. At this point here, we have got r. At this point here, we have got r. And at this point here, we have got r. So if the equation of the circle was x squared plus y squared equals 5 squared, well, the radius is 5. So we can say the coordinate here is 5 across, 0 up. We can say the coordinate here is 0 across, 5 up. The coordinate here would be minus 5, 0. And finally, the coordinate here would be 0, minus 5. So in knowing the radius, we're actually able to find some values of x and y. So we've got values of x and y at all of these points. Now in a previous video, I did look at the equation of a circle and we used it in solving simultaneous equations. If you want to look at that, it's the solving equations for video. Okay, so back to this. So the key thing here to remember is this formula and to know that r is the radius. Now you don't always get given r squared. You might get given something like this. X squared plus y squared equals 49. And in this case, you need to understand that r squared is equal to 49. So in this case, the radius is equal to 7. So let's explain a tangent. So a tangent is a line that touches a circle at exactly one point, and it creates a right angle between the line and the radius. So here's our line. It is touching the circle at one point there. And if I draw the radius in at that point, it will create a right angle here. So to recap, the tangent is a line that touches a circle at one point and creates a 90-degree angle to the radius. So let's bring this together by looking at a question that involves the circle and the tangent. Okay, so in this question, if x squared plus y squared equals 25, so that's the equation of the circle, show that point A, well there's point A, and A is 3 across, 4 down, so it's 3 minus 4. Show that it lies on the circumference of this circle. Well, to do that, we need to use the equation of the circle. So first of all, what do we know? Well, we know that x squared plus y squared is equal to 25, and we also have some coordinates that we believe are on that line. So let's start by rewriting that equation. X squared plus y squared is equal to 25. Now we're going to substitute 3 and minus 4 into x and y and see if it actually equals 25. And if it does, then it does lie on the circumference of the circle. So we're going to have 3 squared plus minus 4 squared. So that gives us 9. Plus minus 4 squared is 16, so that gives us 16. Add those two together, we do indeed get 25. So therefore we do know it lies on the circumference of the circle. So we can say that yes, point A is on the circumference of the circle. And that's it. So now let's look at a question that involves this tangent. So in this question, we have been given a circle. We've been given a tangent that we know is 90 degrees to the radius. We've got point A here, where the line passes through, and we know that point is 3 minus 4. And we're asked to find the equation of this straight line. So the first thing you need to remember is what the equation of a straight line is. Well, actually, the equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. C being the y-intercept, m being the gradient, x and y just being coordinates. Whilst we're writing down equations, let's write down the equation for the circle. So we know the equation for the circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to the radius squared. Back to this equation here, y equals mx plus c. So now we're looking at finding the equation of the straight line. This is the line that I want to find the equation for. To do that, I'm going to find the gradient of this line to help me find the gradient of this line. If I draw in here what's actually happening, I know that the gradient of this line here is the change in y divided by the change in x. So if I look at this, I know that's 0, 0, and I know that point there is 3 minus 4. In other words, it goes across 3 and then goes down 4. So the gradient of this line is equal to minus 4 over 3. I'm going to use this now to find the gradient of our green line. To find the gradient of the green line, what we actually do is we do minus 1 divided by the gradient of the radius. Now we do that because it's perpendicular. So in this case, m is now equal to minus 1 divided by minus 4 over 3. So that becomes minus 1 multiplied by 3 over minus 4, which just becomes 3 over 4. So now our gradient here is just 3 over 4. So now we have y is equal to 3 over 4x plus c. Okay, so now I've substituted the gradient into here. I need to find the value of c. I can do that by substituting these values of x and y into this equation. Right, let's just move this up to give myself some more space. There we go. So now let's just substitute into this equation like we said. So we have now got minus 4 is equal to 3/4 multiplied by 3 add c. Let's solve this for the value of c. So 3 times 3 is 9, that's 9 over 4. I then need to subtract 9 over 4 from both sides to get me c. So c is now minus 4 minus 9 over 4, and therefore c is equal to minus 25 over 4. We now place that into this equation. So we've got y is equal to 3/4 of x plus the value of c, which is minus 25 over 4. Let's get rid of that plus. So it's actually minus 25 over 4. Now these are both over 4, so we could neaten that up by writing it as y is equal to 3x minus 25 all over 4. And that is the equation of our line. As always, if you've got something out of this, please like and subscribe.